Hello, this is Andrea Leibovich again, and today I want to show you how to quickly restore from ransomware attacks. So there are literally three ways to do that. The first one is you pay the ransom, you get the keys, you unencrypt your data. But more and more we hear about companies that pay the ransom and have not been able to unencrypt the data. So that's one way. The second way is rely on your backups. You take backups every night, you store somewhere, you need to restore, move it back. So basically have copies of your data or of your virtual machines in applications every 12 hours or maybe every 24 hours. And then you need to restore them, and it could take a long time. You need to copy data. Then you need to check if that version of the backup is compromised with ransomware. And you got to remember that ransomware is not when it's actually encrypting data. It might be laying on your file system for a long time before you actually get encryption going. So that's the second way. And the third way is using Datum, which provides you with instant RTO and RPO as low as a minute. So let's look how it would restore from ransomware attacks. So I have here in my screen three virtual machines that have already been compromised with ransomware. What you'll see here, 1, 2, and 3. Have been compromised with ransomware. And what the first time you want to do when you actually realize that you have ransomware, you gotta power them off. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select all of them and I'm going to power them off. And there we go, power them off. And then we have different things that we could do. So for the first virtual machine, which is the Active Directory virtual machine, I'm going to rely on a local snapshot. Datum takes snapshots, like I have this set up for every 5 minutes. And I'm going to restore a local snapshot. The second one, which is file01, I'm going to restore a snapshot that is actually replicated in a remote site. So the way I have this set up is I keep every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes snapshots locally, and then every night at midnight take a snapshot and store in a remote site. So that means that I could restore locally from the snapshot, and then also remotely every night. And you can configure that in multiple different ways. But let's look at how we would restore locally first. All right, so let's go to Active Directory. And the first thing I want to do is go into the Datum plugin. In the Datum plugin, I'll go to Restore VM. And it will give me all point-in-time snapshots that we have. Now, it's interesting to understand and important to understand that all these snapshots are immutable and they're stored in a different part of the file system that is not where the VMs are actually running. So there's no way that a VM that has been compromised with ransomware will be able to affect the previous snapshots. So let's select a snapshot. In this case, we probably wouldn't select one from 8 minutes ago. I don't know when the ransomware attack happened. So let's select something like 2-3 hours ago. And select and revert. It should just take literally a couple seconds and the VM is ready to be powered on in a different version. So I'm just going to power on this VM. Okay, one VM is done. The second VM, I want to make sure that we do something a little bit more complex than just powering on and restoring from a local snapshot. Let's select a remote snapshot. Let's say this VM in this application has been compromised for a couple, maybe 7, 8, 10 days. So let's try to roll back 10 days, which I know that is not available in this system. So let's go to file01. Let's go to protection. Now I select where is my snapshot. I know that's in DVX47 because that's where this protection group has been replicating for. And here you see that I have the ability to go back up to 14 days, which I'm retaining for 2 weeks. You could retain from up to 7 years if you want to. Let's restore from 14 days ago. But the first thing I need to do before restoring, I need to make sure that I copy all this data, all this snapshot from my remote site that is in a different site, remote site, into my local site. And DVX will do that in a very smart way. You'll only actually bring the unique data, the data that is unique to the system compared to all the VMs and all the snapshots and so on. So it shouldn't take a lot of time. It's done. Literally, there's not a lot of data to bring because there's full universal deduplication across all the systems, and it compares all the data. All right, so now that we retrieved, it's time to restore. So let's restore VM, select snapshot. The snapshot that I have is a little bit older. I gotta go to the back here. So this is a snapshot about a month ago. Select, revert. Should take just literally a couple seconds. That's it. And I'm going to power on. So while this VM is powering on, let's go to the first VM that we did, the Active Directory. Let me actually delete those here on top. Let me go to the Active Directory VM and let's log in and see if it's still compromised. If it was still compromised, then we would know that the ransomware actually happened before that, and we would go to another point in time. Let's have a look. And voila, it's restored to a pristine state. The ransomware is not here, and business can go as usual. Now the second one is the same thing. We just connect here and launch and make sure that ransomware is not there, which will be the case as well. That's it. Now, I quickly restored locally and also from a remote snapshot, from a remote backup. It could be restoring from the cloud as well. In any scenario, we are only really retrieving the bits that are unique for the system. So no, there are many snapshots, there is universal duplication, so make sure that we bring the least amount of data that is possible to bring. Now, what I want to show you that is really impressive, at least in my opinion, is while I'm doing all this demo to you and restoring snapshots and bringing data from a different site, the system has been actually up and running, and you see that it was actually busy. So you see about 100,000 IOs, 823 megabytes per second, and it's driving 0.04 milliseconds read, 1.2 milliseconds write, which is quite impressive. So you did all that with the system up and running, and that's that easy. Easy to restore from ransomware, locally, remote, from the cloud, from a few minutes ago, or from hours ago, months ago, or years ago. Very easy. So that's all I had for you for today. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.